welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to film this really easy zombie Halloween makeup tutorial for kids. First of all, I started off with black and white face paint. You can use any branded face paint for this. I'm just using what I have like I do for all of my tutorials, and I've just mixed the two shades together to create quite a dark grey, although I must admit it does look kind of black sort of shade, and I'm taking that over the eyelids and underneath the eyes. As you can see, I've just gone all around the eyes with that in a rough circle shape. It doesn't have to be neat at this point. And then I'm just taking a black eyeshadow and just setting that colour so that it doesn't crease. Next I went in with just the white face paint and I took it all the way over the face, around the black circles, down the neck, down the jawline and over the ears, but then I quickly realised that I actually wanted this zombie to be grey. So again I just mixed some black and white face paint just to create a pale grey shade, and I've gone all over the face with this. I think because I used two different brands, the second lot I used were like a lot cheaper, I guess. They were from the pound shop. It hasn't set as well as I would have liked it to, and it does look quite streaky, but again this is just for Halloween. It doesn't have to be perfect, so I just thought, you know what, I'll just stick with it as it is. Then going into that black face paint again, I took a small sort of concealer or mini setting brush if you like, and I got my model to sort of pull a grimacing face so that you can see all of the bones in her neck and her chest. I've kind of gone for like a skull skeleton sort of look here. I was just making it up as I went along. I had this old t-shirt that I'd previously ripped up and literally taken a Sharpie and drawn a skeleton on, so I'm just kind of taking that all along the face, and I've kind of gone over and done her contour and taken it up to her hairline just so that you can't see any of her real skin. Don't forget to fill in any little bits that are visible through the t-shirt as well, like the little hole that I've made on the arm as you can see here. Next I went in with this liquid latex wound that I've made previously, and I'll link that video up on screen. You can totally skip this step if you want to, but I had one of these wounds left over and I just thought it would make the perfect addition to this zombie. So I've just gone in with a little bit of liquid latex and just stuck it to her face. Be careful though, when you're using the liquid latex, always pour it out into a container that you don't mind throwing away, because this is just like glue, so it will stick and it will damage your containers or your brushes. So just use stuff that you don't mind binning. Then once the wound's stuck to the face and you're happy with it, just leave it to set for a few minutes until the liquid latex has dried. And then I've just taken some loose translucent setting powder, again on a brush that I don't really mind binning, just to take the shine off any of that liquid latex. Then I went back into that grey face paint that I'd mixed up on my palette, and taking the same brush that I've used before, I've basically just coloured in the outside of that wound because I want it to blend into the skin as best as possible. Then I went back into my black face paint, and what I've done is inside that wound I've painted that bit black just to give the illusion of depth. As you can see, the tiny sort of gap between the grey and the black, I'm using this red sort of grease paint that I've got from Makeup Forever. That's just to give the illusion of blood. Then I'm taking regular fake blood and just pouring it all the way around the wound just to make it look like somebody has like bitten her face. And finally what I'm doing is taking coagulated blood or scab blood. This is slightly different to regular blood and it's not as runny. It makes it look like a blood clot almost. It's kind of gross. Looks and feels a bit like jam, and I'm just working that into that wound deep inside, so it almost looks like there's just a big blood clot inside that wound. I'm then taking another wound that I had left over from this video. Again, you can also buy these, you don't have to make them yourself. You can make them as early in advance as you want to. I actually made these about 2 or 3 years ago, and these are the last two that I had left, but I've just stuck this onto her neck. In hindsight, you can't actually see this once her hair's down. You can actually stick this anywhere that you want to on the face. I feel like it would have been better on the forehead on the opposite side, but just be really careful not to get the liquid latex anywhere near the eyebrows or the hair because it will pull the hair out. Next I'm going back into that black eyeshadow, and all I'm doing is just taking that around the edges of the black circles that I drew earlier. This will just help to set the face paint if I've missed a bit, but also just to make it blend out a little bit more so that it doesn't just look like a harsh circle that I've drawn, if that makes sense. It just gives the illusion of a bit of depth. Then I've just taken that grey face paint again and gone all over her lips. This really completes the look, I think, and I left it till last purposely, just in case she wanted to have a drink or something like that. Next I'm taking this brown eyeshadow from a Sleek palette. I think the palette's called A New Day, but it's just a matte brown eyeshadow, and as you can see I'm just using a sponge with it as opposed to a brush, just to make her face look a bit dirty, if you like. And then I found this sort of khaki eyeshadow by MAC, and that's just to give the illusion of like some grass stains and just a bit of dirt, just to add to that zombie effect. Moving on to the hair, what I've done is I just asked her to take her hair down, and I'm using a volumizing powder. This one is by Design Me. It's not actually the best one that I've used, but it's all I had to hand. And I'm just spraying it at the front of her hair and just doing a little bit of backcombing. You don't want to backcomb the hair too much, just because it'll be really hard for her to brush it out afterwards. But once I'm done with that, I'm just adding a little bit of volumizing hairspray, because I really want the hair just to have a little bit of texture, stick up a little bit, be a little bit frizzy, and just look zombie-like. And there we have it, that's the finished look. I really hope you enjoyed watching this tutorial. If you found it helpful, then please do share this video, give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment, and do send me a photo if you recreate this look. Don't forget to check out my other Halloween tutorials. I'll be doing as many as I can throughout the month of October. But thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!